Members, Dr. Cruz, district staff, the time is 6 p.m. This is the 30th day of March, 2026. I call this regular meeting of the United Independent School District Board of Trustees to order. May the trustees present please announce their name for the record.
Rudy Gonzalez, present.
Michelle Molina, present.
Ramiro Vélez III, present.
Danielle Martinez, present.
Javier Montemayor, present. Let the record show that a quorum of board members is present, that this meeting has been duly called, and that notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act. Agenda item number 2, Pledge of Allegiance and Texas Pledge. Will everyone please rise?
Pledge allegiance
To the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, one indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. Well, we have about 5 recognitions, so we're going to move the stage around and get ready for those recognitions, so if you just bear with us for just a minute. Thank you.
Good evening, board members, Dr. Cruz, members of the audience. My name is Rebecca Morales, Associate Superintendent for District Administration and Student Services. For the record, it is with great pride and excitement that we gather here today to recognize an incredible group of individuals who embody dedication, generosity, and community spirit. These are parents who have gone above and beyond in contributing their time and energy to our schools and our students. At United ISD, we understand and appreciate the critical role that our parents play in the success of our district. Their selflessness, commitment, and willingness to collaborate make an immeasurable difference in creating a positive and enriching environment for our students. To honor these efforts, we are thrilled to present our MVP honorees for the month of March. From Kazin Elementary, Amparo Arroche. And from Malakoff Elementary, Siriprapa, Vergaray. Congratulations once again, and thank you for all that you do for your unwavering support for our schools and for our UISD school community.
Good evening, members of the board, Superintendent Dr. Cruz, and audience. I'm Leticia Leal, Coordinator of the Fine Arts Department. For the record, I am honored to present the United South High School Silver Steppers dance team. They competed at Contest of Champions Nationals in Orlando, Florida, February the 27th through the March 1st of this year. They are the national champions in military, palm, and precision open. Accompanying the team on stage are Principal Marta Alvarez, Assistant Principal Adriana Cárdenas, and Dance Director Griselda Dosal, along with the team, also the administrative staff of United South High School. The United South High School Silver Steppers absolutely soared at the Contest of Champions Nationals in Orlando, Florida. Through unwavering dedication, passion, and countless hours of hard work, the Silver Steppers represented Laredo, Texas, and United South High School with excellence that left an indelible mark on the national stage. The Silver Steppers had one main goal, which was to go above and beyond their own expectations with confidence and passion. They are immensely grateful for the community's support throughout this journey. It is with incredible pride that we announce the Silver Steppers as national champions. In addition, for the first time in Silver Stepper history, this team advanced to finals, performing their routine again and finishing the competition 4th overall in Precision Open. This milestone against teams from all over the nation is a true reflection of the commitment, teamwork, and determination these Silver Steppers show every day. Congratulations.
Good evening, board members, Dr. Cruz, and community members. Jerry Rodriguez, Director of Fine Arts for the record. On behalf of Mr. Bobby Cruz, Athletic Director, it is with great pride that we recognize outstanding performances this past season in basketball. The United South Girls High School Lady Panthers had another great season. These young ladies have established themselves as one of the elite programs in Region 4. This season was no exception, as the Lady Panthers captured the 36A Co-District Championship. In addition, the Lady Panthers also advanced in the playoffs and finished as by-district champions and area finalists. Congratulations, Lady Panthers, on another excellent season. Head coach is Matthew Garcia. Principal is Marta Alvarez and her administrative team. Congratulations, ladies. Next up, we have the United South Boys Panther basketball team. They also had another outstanding season. This season, the boys were outright District 36A champions. This is the second district title in the past 3 years for the Panthers. In addition, they also made a historic run in the playoffs as by-district champions, area champions, and regional Sweet 16 semifinalists. This is the first time in school history that the Panthers appear in the Sweet 16. Congratulations, Panthers, head coach Jorge Martinez, principal Marta Alvarez, and the administrative team. Congratulations, gentlemen. Next, we have the United High School Lady Longhorns had a great season. The Lady Longhorns have been a constant in the playoffs, and this year the ladies added to their success as the district's 36A co-champions. Congratulations, Lady Longhorns, on another outstanding season. Head coach Frank Gonzalez, Principal Jessica Salazar, and her administrative team. Congratulations, ladies.
Good, you?
Okay. For the record, Gilbert Aguilar is present and joining us. Agenda item number 4, public comments.
Yes, Mr. President, we'll start off. We have about approximately 28. In no particular order, first individual we're calling is Dr. Ray Garza, and he wrote against school closure, the agenda item.
And just so the speakers know, you have 3 minutes.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, and thank you for having me here today. Dear UISD Board, on behalf of teachers, students, parents, and staff at Matias Diano Elementary School, I am raising my opposition to the closing of Matias Diano. As a parent volunteer, and member of the PTC Board, I have seen firsthand how impactful this school has been to many students, including my 2 daughters that currently attend Matias Diano. Alongside many parents here today, my wife and I have volunteered countless hours helping teachers and administration. Through this involvement, I have seen the dedication, commitment, and professionalism of our educators, some which have struggled with significant health battles and have won, and others that are currently battling. The fact that they have persisted and remained poised throughout their battles speaks volumes. These teachers are true role models for our students to follow, and they set the standard of what quality education is. As a district, UISD prides itself in valuing quality and excellence, yet it stands to make a decision on closing one of its highest performing elementary schools. Matias Diano is ranked 5th in the district, scoring above neighboring schools. Its reading and math proficiency ratings are listed at well above expectations, showcasing better performance that exceeds local and state benchmarks. It consistently ranks as an A-rated campus, with high-achieving STAR testing scores. Its enrollment is at state averages, at approximately 15 to 16 students per classroom for elementary schools. Rather than closing, these are precisely the indicators that UISD should be protecting and promoting. That is the true meaning of people over buildings. I still remember the day we chose Matias de Llano for our children's education. My daughter had been wanting to leave her learning center, and she wanted to attend the big school, as she called it. That's my school, she said. On her first day, she was glowing, and her teacher said she did amazing. That's when we knew that Matias de Llano was the right school for our children. The situation that the district finds itself is unfortunate. I will not comment on making better financial decisions, but I will comment on what makes Matias de Llano special. Matias de Llano is a testimony to community, excellence, and a true definition of parental involvement. I encourage all board members to take a step inside the campus and see what a united Dolphin family looks like. Let's preserve that as a district. A disruption to our children's academic and social development should not be up for debate, and we should try extremely hard to take measures to mitigate the cost in order to promote high-quality instruction and education. I ask the board to strongly reconsider its decision to potentially close Matias de Llano Elementary School and seek an alternative solution. In closing, a few words for my two daughters. My oldest says, I would really like to keep Matias de Llano open because we have great teachers, coaches, and friends. My youngest, I love my teachers. Please do not close my school. I think this is the perfect time and opportunity for the board to listen and hear what our children, who are the future, have to say. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Next speaker, Adriana Contreras. Agenda item discussing opposed to closure of campuses, I believe, near road. Yes, Mati, okay.
Hello. Hello, members of the UISD Board. I speak today with a sense of responsibility as a Matias de Llano parent, a community member, and a constituent of UISD District 6. The proposed closure of Matias de Llano is not just a logistical decision. It is one that will deeply and permanently affect children, families, and the entire MDL community that has poured its heart into its campus. MDL is more than a school building. It is a home. It is a place where children feel safe, seen, and valued. The teachers, counselors, paraprofessionals, and administrators at MDL do far more than just educate. They nurture, advocate, uplift every child who walks through those doors. For my children, this is their Dolphin School, the only school they have ever known. It is where they learn not just academics, but belonging. No child should have to grieve the loss of their school. I also want to make light specifically to my 7-year-old son. Watching him navigate the world has been both a challenge and a journey of growth after his diagnosis of ADHD and autism level 1. Making the decision to move him to Matias was not easy, but it has proven to be life-changing. At MDL, the nurturing environment has supported him and the dedicated teachers who truly understand his needs. And because of that, my son now has flourished in many ways and is on the verge of being mainstreamed into the general education classroom, hopefully. As a constituent, as a District 6 constituent, I want to be clear, this decision will not be forgotten. It will influence how we engage and how we vote moving forward. I respectfully and humbly ask you to reconsider the closure of Matias de Llano Elementary School. Protect this community, honor the educators and staff who have given so much, and most importantly, stand up for the children whose voices often go unheard in decisions that affect them the most. Thank you for your time and for the weight of your consideration. My son has one thing to say.
Don't close my Dolphin School.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Don't close my Dolphin School.
Thank you.
Next, we have Ms. Tanya Ramirez on Matias de Llano closure consideration.
Good evening, members of the board and superintendent. My name is Tanya Ramirez. I'm a communication graduate from TAMU and currently serve as a librarian at Matias de Llano Elementary. I stand before you today not just as an employee, but as a witness to the profound impact this specific campus has on both of its staff and its students. When I began my journey here 2 years ago, I brought with me a degree in communication, wondering how I would best apply those skills within the walls of Matias de Llano Elementary. I found my answer under the expert guidance of our librarian, Ms. Viches, and the steadfast leadership of our principal, Ms. Carodi, and vice principal, Mr. Guzman. And steadfast, I have grown from a recent graduate into a dedicated professional. This school has been my training ground, proving that my education was not in vain, but a tool to serve our community more effectively. Matias de Llano is powered by people who are not just good employees, but exceptional mentors. The staff here advised, guided, shaped my professional identity. We are a cohesive unit. Closing the school does not just relocate students, it dismantles a support system that has taken years to build. A system that relies on the deep-rooted friendships and professional synergies we share. Most importantly, I think of the children. They have encouraged me as much as I have mentored them. I have watched these students grow, and my greatest professional hope is to see them continue that journey here through the transition into middle school. There is a sense of our security and clarity in these halls that cannot be easily replicated or replaced elsewhere. Our students deserve the stability and home they have found at Matias de Llano Elementary. I ask the board to consider that a school value is measured by the growth of its people. I am proof of that growth. While I understand the complexity of the decision before you, I urge you to see Matias de Llano Elementary for what it truly is, a vital, successful, and irreplaceable pillar of our district. We are more than a campus. We are the future in progress. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Next speaker, Mr. President, Dr. Tyler King.
Hello, good afternoon, good evening, board. First time at a UISD board meeting. I do not envy, and Tyler King, City Councilman for District 6 for the record. I'm used to being on the dais, receiving public comments, and I know I don't envy the decision that you're about to have to make tonight. It's clear that this is going to be really, really difficult. And I also want to say, well, first I should rise and say that I support keeping Matias de Llano Elementary School open. I will say that. But I also understand that we live in a state that doesn't properly fund public education, a state that just passed a $1 billion voucher scam that is taking money away from public education to subsidize wealthy people's private education for their children. And I understand that is part of the calculus coming up in the upcoming fiscal year. I understand that there might be 700 to 900 potentially, as an estimate of potential students who've applied for the voucher program, and that's another X number of $1 million that could come away. So I understand that you're dealing with difficult numbers because of the state that we live in right now. I just ask, and I pray for you all in making this decision. And if there's any last stone unturned that can be done to, I speak mainly for Matias de Llano because that's 100% of that boundary is in the district that I serve on city council. But I assume families and representatives from Gutierrez will also share similar concerns, because I want to echo one of the comments, because I do speak also as a former high school history teacher. I was 4 years in the classroom. The 4 hardest years of my life, by the way. I couldn't handle being a teacher, so actually, being in med school and becoming a physician, I found easier than being a teacher. I think it's extremely one of the most challenging professions that there is, and underappreciated in general by the public. And thank you to all the teachers in the audience tonight. But a school truly is more than a building. I appreciate that it was mentioned. It is a home for the families, for the teachers, for the students. And I know you all know that. I don't want to speak to you as if you don't believe that. Like I said, I don't envy your position. But I wish for you wisdom tonight. And I pray for our city and for this school district. And I wish you well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Camila Cruz on closing Matias de Llano.
Good afternoon. My name is Camila Cruz, and today I stand here not just as a student, but as someone who truly loves her school. Matias de Llano Elementary is not just a building. It is where we learn, where we grow, where we find who we are. It is where friendships begin and where teachers learn in us. Even when we don't believe in ourselves, closing the school is not just closing doors. It is closing opportunities, it is closing memories, it is closing dreams. Here we do not just learn math or reading, we learn how to be kind, how to be strong, how to be better people. Every classroom, every teacher, every moment has helped shape who we are today. We are not asking for something impossible. We are simply asking to be heard. Please do not make a decision without understanding what this school means to us. Because the school is not measured by numbers. It is measured by the lives it changes. And this school has changed ours. Please, please don't close our school, Matias de Llano. Thank you.
Next speaker, I have Grace Herndon, a closure of Matias de Llano. So.
Good evening, board members. My name is Grace Harper Herndon. I am a 4th grade student at Matias de Llano Elementary, and I am writing to you from my heart. My voice deserves to be heard as you consider the decision to close our school, a place that has been my second home since pre-K. I am proud of everything I've accomplished at my school. I am our campus spelling bee winner. I am part of the Gifted and Talented program and the National Elementary Honor Society. I am in the cheer team and I'm involved in robotics, cross country, and track. I work hard every day to do my best, not just for myself, but because my school inspires me to succeed. That's why it hurts so much to think about it closing. If our school closes, we will miss some of the most important moments of our childhood. Our 5th grade prom, our out-of-town trip, and the chance to finish elementary school with the friends and teachers who have helped us grow since pre-K. We won't all stay together, but we sent to different buildings and the community we built will be gone. Please reconsider what closing the school truly means. It means losing our second home and our friends and our second family. It means walking into a new building full of strangers, and it means not being able to make our favorite memories together or finish the journey we started side by side. Please don't take that away from us. Our school is not just a building. It is our second home. It's a place filled with friends who have become family. We love our custodians, our administrators, our coaches, and all of our teachers. Every person here plays a part in making our school a safe, welcoming, and inspiring place. They care about us, they support us, and help us believe in ourselves. Please see us not just numbers or decisions, but students with dreams, friendships, and futures that are being shaped right here. I am one of many students who are succeeding because of this school, and I hope you will give us the chance to continue growing where we feel we belong. Sincerely, a proud fourth grade student at Matias de Llano Elementary, Grace Harper Herndon. Thank you for your time.
Next speaker, we have William Sehi and school closings as well. William Sehi, I think that's the, there you go.
Good evening,
Good evening.
Mr. Cruz, board, faculty, staff, parents, students, my family. I wrote this with a very heavy heart, and some of it is not very nice, so I'll skip those parts. Okay. It's just that Matias de Llano means a very lot to me. My name is William Shea. I'm a retired UISD police officer. I was at Matias de Llano for 9 years. Amazing school, amazing administrator, amazing staff. Let me get to the meat of this, okay? Mrs. Carodi and the teachers and staff at Matias de Llano, year after year, they did their jobs with excellent results. They continually did what was asked of them and so much more. I know because I was a part of it. I was a police officer, but so much more. I had a reading program there where we brought fun back to reading. We had a campfire in the library where every week the kids would come and sit around the campfire and we would read a story. Then we'd go to the cafeteria and we'd have s'mores, real s'mores, okay? At one time, I was asked to tutor. I actually got to tutor 5 students in reading and help to bring their grades up, okay? This is an amazing school, an amazing staff. And to close this school would be a huge mistake. In my opinion, Ms. Carodi assembled a team of administrators and teachers that go above and beyond every day. I've never seen them give up on a child, no matter how difficult that child was. Okay? They always got together and found a way to teach that child. And to break up this team, to close that school, I think it would be a big mistake. And I thank y'all for your time tonight. And like I said, I left out the heated parts because this school means so much to me. I would like to say one last thing to my Matias de Llano family behind me. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord lift his face to shine upon you and give you peace all the days of your life. Thank you.
Mr. Christopher Rodriguez on Matias de Llano as well.
Good morning, board members. My name is Christopher Rodriguez, and I'm a 5th grade student and an A honor roll student of Matias de Llano. Me and my friends were very sad and worried about the school closing. The possibility of our school closing Matias is not just a school to me and my friends, it's our second home. We feel like we love going to that school like every day. Matias, the teachers, Miss Carodi, the staff, especially Dr. Compian, our music teacher, has always been kind, helpful, caring. When I grow up, I want to be a basketball player and a music teacher. Our school makes me feel safe, happy, and proud to be a Dolphin. Please don't close our school. Thank you for listening to me tonight.
Next speaker is San Juanita Rodriguez, Matias de Llano.
Good afternoon, board members. I come to you today not just as a parent, but as a mother who is deeply concerned and heartbroken, asking you from the bottom of our hearts to please reconsider this decision. This is not just about a school. This is about our children, our families, and our entire community. Every day, parents like me work hard to make sure our children get to and from school safely. Changing this will make life so much harder to coordinate pickups, harder to arrange transportation, and harder on families who are already doing their best. These are real struggles that will not go away, and they will grow more. But more than that, this decision is already affecting our children emotionally. My child came to me and said, "Mom, I won't be able to do my senior walk." That broke my heart. Those moments matter, those memories matter, and they are being taken away. At Matias de Llano, our children feel safe, they feel loved, and they feel seen. The teacher, the staff, Ms. Carodi, have created something truly special. This is not just a school, it's a home away from home. It's a place filled with warmth, kindness, and support. It's a place where children grow, not only academically, but emotionally. My children have been honor roll students because of this environment. My younger son has received speech therapy since second grade, and that support has changed his life. That kind of care and dedicated cannot be replaced. There is a sense of comfort when you walk into Matias de Llano. As a parent, you know your children are in good hands. That peace of mind is everything. I also ask you to please consider how they're being represented publicly. When families and children see celebration from other schools while their school is facing closure, it hurts. It sends the wrong message to our children. I'm asking you, look beyond today. Think about the long-term impact. Think about what this school means to these children, to these families, and to our community. We're not just taxpayers. These are our lives, these are our memories, these are our children's future. I pray that you make the right decision for the children of Matias de Llano. Thank you so much for your time.
Next speaker, Mr. Sergio Ramirez, consolidation of Matias de Llano as well.
Board members, Dr. Cruz, good afternoon. For the record, my name is Sergio Ramirez, and I'm a parent of a second grader at Matias de Llano Junior Elementary. As a father, I would do anything to protect my child, including protecting her from decisions that shape her education, stability, and her sense of belonging. That includes standing here tonight and advocating on her behalf. Matias de Llano Junior Elementary is deeply personal to me. I was a first grader there when it first opened up back in 1993. I've seen firsthand what makes this campus special and why it has remained such an important part of this community for decades. While Matias de Llano is not the school my daughter pertains to, my wife and I chose it for our daughter 4 years ago because of its low student-to-teacher ratio and because it's a highly rated campus where students are truly known and they thrive. We have a 2-year-old who I hope gets the opportunity to be an MDL Dolphin like her dad and her older sister. As a parent, trying to understand the rationale for closing schools by the district has been such an unorganized process. The lack of transparency, accountability, and everything just feels rushed. You all have said schools with the lowest enrollment, schools with the lowest 10-year projections, and schools with the highest cost savings. These are all the reasons that you've used to justify the closure of Matias de Llano. But let's make it clear, while I'm against the closure of any schools, based off of information that the district has provided, there are 5 other schools currently with lower enrollment than Matias. There are 6 other schools with lower projected enrollment in the 10-year forecast. And the school with the actual highest cost savings isn't even being considered for closure. Make it make sense. The district's proposal makes one believe that the decision on which school is being closed is being driven more by politics rather than actual enrollment data and or cost-saving analysis. To the board members, before you vote, I ask each of you to pause and ask yourselves one honest question. Have you truly exhausted every available cost-saving measure that does not directly impact our students' education? Have you been directly involved and engaged in trying to find alternatives to meet the financial needs of the district while not compromising the student experience? I think for most of you, the answer is no. And with all due respect, you have no business in voting on the agenda item to close schools, let alone vote in favor for it. Thank you for your time.
For the record, Alicia Oliveros is present.
Next speaker, Mr. President, Mr. Edward Teniente on consolidation of Matias de Llano.
Good evening. First off, thank you for the opportunity to go ahead and be present with you all today. Good afternoon, ladies, gentlemen, and members of the UISD School Board. My name is Edward Teniente, and I've been employed with United Independent School District for the past 18 years. I am speaking today as a parent and educator on behalf of the children at Matias de Llano, specifically my second grade son and daughter who is in kindergarten. In the year 2001, I was a 16-year-old junior at the United High School located at 8800 McPherson, located next to Matias de Llano. And my task every morning was to drive my little sister to school there. The school was much larger then, population-wise, as it was the only elementary in this area at the time, before the other North Side elementary schools were built. I remember then the vibrant atmosphere, the energetic movement of school personnel, and the hustle and bustle of a lively elementary school. Fast forward 21 years later to August 10th, 2022, my wife and I enrolled our son, Ezra Eduardo, at Matias de Llano for his introduction to public education at the pre-K level. We were hesitant to even start, overcoming the thoughts of school violence, COVID-stricken fear, and his overall well-being, as any concerned and involved parent does. The first days were difficult for our son, as most of us would expect it to be, but perhaps it was even harder for us to see that slowly, but surely this would become the new norm for him over the next few years in elementary. The nostalgia came back to me as we walked him into the school on the first day, just as I had my younger sister only a few years ago. The atmosphere, the energy of amazing teachers and staff, and the look of the building remained unchanged. This made the overall transition for us as parents even easier and exciting, as with every passing year, we became optimistic about the upcoming school year. Now, Ezra's little sister, Aza, is on the brink of becoming the last kindergartner to graduate from this special campus that has meant so much to our family through the years. I am not here to convince you or to persuade you of what you should or shouldn't do as a school board, but here to let it be known that Matias de Llano has been a major asset to the surrounding area of North Laredo and has continued to produce wonderful students and citizens in a society that could use more of what our city of Laredo needs, and that is character, honesty, integrity, and love for one another. It has not been easy to explain to a 5- and 7-year-old that the campus that they currently attend may soon cease to exist, when 5 years ago, this option was far from anyone's mind. May God guide any decision that is made for the betterment and advancement of our future leaders and community. God bless you all, and good night. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, we have Ms. Jacqueline Villadrosa on school closing.
Hi, good evening. I'm going to speak on behalf of Amparo Gutierrez. Good evening. My name is Jacqueline Villadrosa. I am here to make one point absolutely clear for the record. I fully understand the legal standards that govern this consolidation, and I'm tracking every step this district takes. Under the IDEA Section 504 and Texas Education Code, moving students to a different campus through consolidation is a change of placement. A change of placement requires legally sufficient justification, documented analysis of impact, parent participation in the decision, continuity of services, and proof that the receiving campus can meet each child's needs without regression. At this point, and at this time, the district has not produced evidence that satisfies any of these requirements. The students at this campus rely on specialized supports, predictable routines, and trained staff who understand their communication, sensory, and behavioral needs. These are not preferences. They are legally protected components of their education. Removing them with a compliant plan is not a transition, it's a violation. If this board proceeds without meeting every procedural safeguard, including prior written notice and a legally defensible transition plan, I will treat it as a direct breach of federal and state law. And I will respond through the appropriate legal and administrative channels available to me. I'm not here to debate, I'm here to document. I know exactly what the law requires. I know exactly where the district is out of compliance. And I know exactly what steps are available if this consolidation is executed unlawfully. This board is responsible for the legal consequences of its decisions. Act accordingly. Thank you. Jacqueline Villarsa, MSSW. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, Ms. Saraí Carranza, closure of Matias de Llano.
Good evening. My name is Saraí Carranza. I stand here not just as a parent, but as someone whose life and whose children's lives have been deeply shaped by Matias de Llano. Let me tell you a little bit about my family. I have 3 children at Matias de Llano, but my kids come from private school. Moving my children to public school was one of the hardest decisions I've ever had to make as a parent. I was worried about how they would adjust or if they would struggle academically or socially. But thankfully, my kids' transition to Matias de Llano was easy for them because of the amazing school it is. All of their staff and dedicated teachers have helped each one of my children grow tremendously. I am so thankful to be part of the Dolphin family. This school is more than just a building. It is a second home to my kids and to many others. It is where friendships have formed and bonds have been created. Closing this school doesn't just change where children go to class, it disrupts relationships that took time to build. It removes a safe and familiar environment for many. Now we worry if our children will receive the same quality of education in a crowded classroom. For many of you, this may be a decision weighed in numbers, budgets, and projections. I understand that those factors matter, but our children's education and well-being should be the top priority. The sudden closure without a detailed plan has placed unnecessary burden on us parents, educators, and most importantly, the students. Clear communication and transparency are critical in a decision of this magnitude. I urge you to prioritize the voices of the families here tonight who will be most affected. Our children are watching, and they are counting on you to keep their school open. Our job as parents is to do what's best and protect our children, and so is yours when we, the community, put you up there.
Thank you. Next speaker, we have Ms. Leti Juarez on proposed consolidation of Matias de Llano Elementary and Amparo Gutierrez Elementary.
Good evening. For the record, my name is Leti Juarez, and I oppose closing Matias and Gutierrez. And here are my reasons. I am having a hard time trusting the decisions being made. The actions taken by this board and district leadership over the past few years have had a negative effect on our district's finances. So why should the community believe that closing schools is now the solution? The real costs are in payroll, which makes up 87% of the district's operating expenses. Yet while the district is proposing to eliminate 120 teaching positions, there is no clear plan on how this will impact classrooms. Will students continue to have certified teachers? Will principals be forced to shift staff just to fill gaps? If not planned well, this may cause a major disruption to student learning. Ms. Oliveros, you stated that this current budget that we have right now was well planned and balanced. Yet by October, the district reported a 13 million shortfall. And by January, we were discussing closing schools. Ms. Molina, you stated publicly that for 2 years there has been cost savings and position freezes measures taken. Yet we ended up with a 44 million deficit, which is the main reason we are here talking about consolidations. Where's the data that supports your claims? Ms. Molina, you also called for a community advisory committee. The last meeting, you were gung-ho to do this so that before any decisions on consolidation be made, we had to have this committee, yet no such committee was ever formed. The consolidation plan has been inconsistent from the very beginning. The vote was for March, then April, and now we're back to March. First, there was 5 schools and a 6th grade campus, creating unnecessary anxiety for teachers and students. Now it has been reduced to 2 schools with no clear financial explanation. The district states that it can generate approximately 20 million in savings. So I ask this board, why are you still considering closing Matias and Gutierrez when there is sufficient money to offset that? Thank you very much.
Next speaker, Mr. President, we have Francisco Frank Castillo on Matias de Llano.
I already went to training this morning, so I could jog. So, my name is Frank Castillo, honorable board members, staff is here. You have a tough decision, I realize that, but sometimes these tough decisions will make all of us better. Nevertheless, I'm here standing with Matias de Llano. I feel very strongly that we do need to reevaluate the decision that you're making, only because if you have already made a decision like this, I don't think it's the fair one to make. If anything, I want to divide it into 2 things. Student population. Student population, for years, Matias de Llano has brought the students in, but we've had to share with Malakoff, with Borchers. Now we need them back. Now, if it's strictly population, fiscal management could be a different tune. But nevertheless, if that is the case, it's financial, then all of us sitting in the board should make some concessions, not only our District 7 or Matias. All of board members need to give in something. And maybe that's the plan. I don't know. You know. You all know what you're doing. Nevertheless, I think it's very important that people realize that financially, this has been imposed on us. It was imposed on you by the state. I think Dr. King mentioned the amount of billions that have been lost to go to the private sector, the private schools. I get that. Look at what the other school districts are doing. Houston ISD, 250 million deficit. And I say this also for the public to understand. It's not a unique UISD problem. It's a state problem. Dallas ISD, 152 million deficit. Austin ISD, 19.7 million. 292 million. It's a number that's included in there. Plano ISD, 43.7 million shortfall. Judson ISD in San Antonio, 37 million deficit. Conroe ISD, 12 million shortfall. Other areas, Aldine, Spring, and Greenwood ISD, they all had shortfalls. So I know that it's not your fault. And by the way, now that I'm here, it is not the staff problem. It is not their fault. They're giving you the numbers that you asked for. This staff that we have here, including Dr. Cruz and his staff, administration, you've done the work. You brought the numbers. But now we have to make sure that we are fair and equitable with everybody. Everybody needs to pay a little bit. Lastly, I thank you for your time. And of course, it's not enough time for me to explain everything, but I am here to congratulate the school district for winning that lawsuit, on being able to justify or defend the district against people who just feel that they should complain. Nevertheless, I'm here with the school district. I stand with the school district, and I stand with Matias de Llano. Thank you.
Next speaker, we have Miguel Malin on proposed consolidation of Matias de Llano.
Hi, my name is Miguel Malin and I am in the 4th grade at Matias de Llano. I think the school shouldn't close because I love my school. I have been at this school since kindergarten and I want to continue there through my 5th grade year. The teachers and staff are very helpful and sweet towards the students. They are nice and I have very good friends and family. Matias de Llano is a very good school, so please don't close our school. Thank you.
Next speaker, we have Ms. Reina Gomez on proposed consolidation of Matias de Llano.
Hola, buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes.
Mi nombre es Reina Gómez. Solo les quiero pedir por favor que reconsideren su decisión de cerrar la escuela. Mi hijo mayor estuvo ahí, ahorita ya está en el colegio. Tengo mi otro hijo en 4º grado y realmente para nosotros como padres es una extensión de la casa. Nos sentimos seguros porque todas las maestras son excelentes maestras, la directora. Yo con mi hijo de ahorita de 4º grado he tenido ciertas dificultades y he encontrado en ellas un apoyo enorme y ha estado en programas y me siento muy protegida con el staff, con las maestras y les pido por favor que no lo cierren. A lo mejor podremos encontrar otra forma, no sé, pero para nosotros es muy importante y no lo vean como números, estadísticas. Son niños en los cuales tienen sus sueños, sus metas y en la escuela ellos se sienten seguros. Y la psicología dice que un niño se puede adaptar muy fácilmente a los cambios, pero yo pienso que no todos los niños tienen esa capacidad. Bueno, estoy hablando por mi hijo, ¿verdad? Entonces se me hace muy difícil este cambio. Les pido por favor que lo reconsideren. Gracias.
Next speaker, we have Stephanie Villarreal on school closure.
Good evening, UISD board members, superintendent, and council. If
If decisions being made in this room will change the course of our children's lives, and voices of those children's families deserve to be heard just as loudly. My name is Stephanie Villarreal, and I stand before you today as a parent, an advocate, and a voice for families who feel unheard. We recently filed a formal grievance regarding the rapid consolidation of our schools. This issue goes far beyond buildings or budgets. This is about our children, their stability, their education, and their future. Under IDEA and Section 504, our children are entitled to appropriate educational services, individualized support, and meaningful parent involvement in decisions that directly affect them. Yet what we are witnessing is a process moving forward at a pace that does not allow for true transparency, collaboration, or trust. Families are left with more questions than answers, and that is unacceptable when it comes to our children. We are asking for something fundamental: time, communication, and a genuine seat at the table. There are still critical questions that remain unanswered. How will students with special needs be supported during and after this transition? What specific plans are in place to ensure continuity of services? What data is truly driving these decisions, and why has it not been fully shared with the public? At the same time, we cannot ignore the human impact of these decisions. Our educators, dedicated teachers, staff, and support personnel are facing displacement. These are individuals who have poured their time, energy, and heart into serving our children. Yet the justification being presented is built on narratives that do not fully reflect the reality within our schools. Our educators deserve transparency, respect, and honesty, not uncertainty and disruption. We must also take a closer look at the financial reasoning behind this plan. Closing school buildings does not eliminate the responsibility to maintain them. Those facilities will still require upkeep, security, and resources. That means ongoing costs will remain, raising serious concerns about whether this consolidation will actually resolve the projected $1 million deficit or simply shift the burden without delivering a meaningful solution. And to the Board of Directors, you were selected to be the voice of this community. You were entrusted to represent us, to listen, and to lead with integrity. We are your community, parents, educators, and families, and today we are asking you to hear us, listen to our concerns, acknowledge our questions, respond to our pleas. We are not here to resist progress. We are here to ensure that progress is thoughtful, responsible, and centered on what matters most, our children. Our request is simple, but it's urgent. Pause this process, engage meaningfully with families and educators, provide full transparency, and ensure compliance with the laws that protect our children. Because at the end of the day, this is not just policy, it's personal. So I'll leave you with this. If you truly represent this community, then prove it, not just in your votes, but in your willingness to listen, to slow down, and to stand with the families you were chosen to serve. Do the right by our children, stand with our educators, and let your decision reflect the voices of the people, not just the speed of the process. Thank you very much.
Next speaker, we have Mr. Victor Barrios on 2 elementary school closing.
Good evening, everyone, board, community. My name is Victor Ramos Barrios, and I'm currently a student at Alexander High School. Today, I'm speaking as students who are living through these decisions and who care deeply about our schools and especially our community. We want to start by saying we understand the people in this room. We understand the families, the teachers, and everyone who feels connected to these schools. We know there are more than buildings. They are memories, traditions, and a sense of home. And we truly respect that. This is not easy to say. Both as students, we also feel a responsibility to be honest about what we're seeing. We've seen the numbers, we've listened carefully, and we understand that if this decision is not taken, the cuts will not go away. They will move. And they eventually will affect programs that shape us. UIL academics, sports, fine arts. These are not just activities to us. They are where we grow, where we find purpose, and where many of us build our future. We are also thinking about the younger students. By the time they reach high school or even middle school, we don't want them to have fewer opportunities that we have now. We want them to have strong programs, strong support, and a system that is not stretched too thin. As a student that has passed through this process, I understand this decision is painful. We know people don't want this change, and we understand why. But sometimes, caring about a community also means making the difficult decision that protects it in the long term. We trust that the district will do everything possible to support students and families through this transition. So, from a student perspective, we ask you to think about the future, not just what we feel today, but what students will need tomorrow. Change is sometimes the opportunity, is a door to a new opportunity. Thank you for listening to us. May God bless you, and thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker, we have Ms. Regina Verbunen on 2 elementary school closings.
Good evening. My name is Regina Verbonen. I'm a high school senior from John B. Alexander. I also have represented and been part of student advisory for the last 4 years of my high school career. And in being here, I'm here and standing. We understand these decisions. I'm a product of UISD for the last 12 years. My mom is an elementary teacher. I have been part of the Gutierrez district. I have been in those. But I'm here not to fight with the parents or the communities, but offer a different perspective for you board members. We have already seen in high schools the effects that these budget cuts have had, whether UIL academics, orchestra, tennis, and much more that I am a part of. I know that a decision has to be made soon. Whether it be with these 2 schools or other schools, we know that a decision like this has to be done soon because us high schoolers have felt it. All of the Student Advisory Board, as I'm here representing, need and urge you to do something, whether it be, again, these 2 schools or 2 different schools. We know that this is important and this is a decision that has to be taken. We understand that these schools are not just buildings or community, but these communities can form and build in other places. We have seen the numbers by the CFO, Ms. Benavides. We have seen the presentations, and as someone who's been part of the Student Advisory for over 4 years, I know that these decisions are hard, but as a product of UISD, who has been part of so much, I am looking out for the future of these children. The same children that are in these elementaries, we need to urge and the voters to do something about it and these budget cuts. Because we right now, as these high school students and student advisory, know that if something like this does not pass, it will come down from budget cuts to students, to coaches and staff stipends, to extracurriculars like UIL, tennis and orchestra and the fine arts, because we at the high school already feel it. And the same parents that are here that want the best for their children need to understand that if we don't cut or do something like this, the next up is extracurriculars that have been formed, not only of the high school kids, but of my entire community. I was part of recently the only Title I school in policy debate at UT Austin with my debate partner, and we were almost not able to afford it because we need to cut in different places. So I urge a different perspective for these 2 closings and either do and see the logistics of this to the parents because they do have the right of knowing how this will work and how this affects and the logistics of it, but I do urge all the vote members to do something about it as soon, whether it be with these 2 schools or other schools. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, we have Mr. Guayo de la Garza on contract days and stipend reductions.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board. Dr. Cruz, first and foremost, I would like to congratulate both schools, communities that are here to represent for not only their constituents or their children, but also for the community as a whole, the entire UIC community, as well as the education community, because it's very important that we come out here as we see all of these cuts affecting everyone in the state. My name for the record, once again, is Guayo de la Garza. I am the president of TSTA, which represents over 2,400 employees in both districts and is the biggest TSTA local in the state of Texas. I stand before you to address concerns of many UIC employees who are worried about the reduction or loss of stipends and contract days, which will affect their annual pay. I have monitored the financial situation that has beset the district and fully understand the need for financial solvency. However, the employees, your employees, are an essential component of district operations. For many years, we were asked to do more with less and were not compensated according to market values. Workers who supplemented their income through stipends of overtime will now be asked to do with more do more with less yet again. Due to the runaway inflation that we are enduring, any loss in pay will doom your employees. Many will not be able to keep their lights on and meet their families' needs. They may have to find other ways of supplementing their income to be able to meet their household's issues. This could lead to a loss of morale and increased health-related issues. It is of utmost interest for the district to protect the workforce, which has been patient for years on end. I asked the Board of Trustees to look elsewhere to find the rational financial solution that will not only protect its employees, but its children and the UISD community as a whole. I implore that you make a wise decision and that you have a wonderful evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next speaker, we have Mary Lou Abrego on school closure.
Good evening, board members. It has become very clear to me that this district has lost sight of its vision. Somewhere along the way, the focus shifted away from students, their education, and their future, and towards decisions that do not reflect the needs of the communities you serve. As I have reflected this school year, I have also reflected on the decisions this district has made, the actions it has taken, and in some cases, the actions it has failed to take. It is because of this that I have made one of the most difficult decisions of my career. I will be resigning at the end of this school year. This decision is not rooted in a lack of passion. It is not because of my campus, my colleagues, or my administration. They have been supportive and dedicated to our students. This decision is a result of leadership at the district level. When educators and families asked questions, we were met with reassurance instead of honesty. When concerns were raised, we were given answers that did not reflect what was actually happening. And now we are faced with decisions that directly impact our students, our schools, and our future. Without that, the level of transparency and accountability that this community deserves. We are told that these decisions are necessary, yet we have not been shown clear, detailed evidence that demonstrates why school closures are the only solution. At the same time, there has been little accountability for past financial decisions that contributed to where we are today. Trust has been broken, not just for me, but for many educators and families across this district. As both a teacher and a mother of 2 daughters in this district, I cannot ignore that. I take my children's education seriously, and I no longer feel confident in the direction this district is heading. I have applied for school vouchers. My youngest will be attending private school, and I am actively exploring alternative options for my freshman daughter in special education to ensure her needs are fully met. I share this not out of anger, but out of urgency, because when educators begin to leave and families begin to pull their children out of this district, that is not just a personal decision, that is a warning sign. Before you cast your vote, I ask you to consider this. Are these decisions truly in the best interests of students, or are they the result of choices that are now being passed down to those with the least control? Because once trust is lost, it is not easily rebuilt. And tonight, you are not just voting on a campus, you are shaping whether families like mine will continue to believe in this district. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, we have Andrea Orellana on closing Matias de Llano. Ms. Andrea Orellana, are you here? Next speaker, Mr. President, we have Sheila Gonzalez on Matias de Llano closing.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Sheila Gonzalez, and I'm a parent of 2 boys who currently attend this school. One of my sons requires more attention than most children due to a physical condition called muscular Duchenne dystrophy. As a parent, there is nothing more difficult and honestly more terrifying than sending your child to school knowing they need extra care, patience, and understanding. But this school, this staff, has made that burden lighter. The level of compassion, accommodation, and genuine care we experience here is something I will never be able to fully put into words. They don't just teach here. They show up for our children in ways that truly matter. Before my boys, my sisters also attended this school. To this day, they carry fond memories of their teachers and their time here. That says everything. This isn't just a building. It's a place where children grow, feel safe, and are supported. My family has been part of this community for over 20 years, and throughout that time, this school has been a cornerstone of it. It's more than just a school. It's a part of fabric of our lives. Closing the school doesn't just affect logistics. It affects families, children, and the community that has depended on it for decades. I ask you to truly consider what is being lost here, not just a campus, but a support system, a safe space, a place that has made a real difference in the lives of so many families, including mine. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, we have Rosie Juarez on closure of Matias de Llano.
Good evening, board members, Dr. Cruz, parents present. My name is Rosalia Juarez, and I'm a parent and volunteer coach at Matias de Llano. I'm here today speaking on behalf of my son. My son has expressed concerns on the closure of his school. His questions, he's asking why his school is being prioritized and raised concerns about the impact to his friends, teachers, and overall educational environment. These are valid concerns, and he should not be worrying about them, especially given the upcoming STAR testing period. He should not be stressed or experiencing anxiety about matters that are beyond his control. Closing Matias de Llano would disrupt the community that has been built. These students are extremely familiar with the staff, teachers, and administrators. The children that receive special services will be particularly affected. These children will begin to regress instead of progress. Closing Matias de Llano will not only affect the students, teachers, and staff at our school, but also the other schools where they will be placed. This will result in an influx of students, increasing the student-to-teacher ratio. It will increase bullying from their new peers, which is inevitable. The traffic will be a significant problem. Additionally, new subdivisions in the Winfield area and surrounding Malakoff are being built, not to mention all the apartments that were recently built by Trotman Elementary. In a few years, we'll be faced with overcrowding if these closures occur. The UIC motto emphasizes the importance of serving the children. Implementing school closures as a solution to the deficit disregards these fundamental principles. It is concerning that the leaders responsible for safeguarding our children have proposed these closures. This proposal should have been rejected. The district should explore alternative strategies to address the deficit. In lieu of closing schools, I propose that the district implement cost-saving measures at the executive level and consolidate high-paying positions at the top. The proposed plan appears to lack sufficient detail to address all concerns. A more comprehensive and effective approach would minimize disruption to the educational process. I urge the board to evaluate this alternative and explore alternative solutions that do not entail the closure of schools. It is crucial to restructure the plan, prepare the budget for the upcoming fiscal year, and assess its potential outcomes. Should the plan prove ineffective, the board can revisit the issue with a more robust and effective approach next year. As you do with our children preparing for the STAR test, I encourage you to go back, brainstorm, use your strategies,
and develop a comprehensive and effective plan that does not involve school closures. I want to thank all the teachers, staff, and administrators from Matias de Llano for everything that you do for our children every single day. Thank you.
Next speaker, we have Gilberto del Corral on consolidation of schools. Sure.
One second, please, before you start the clock. Okay. Like the other man said, well, hello, everybody. Good evening. Like the other man said, I'm here to represent everybody in general, kids and all, especially Gutierrez Elementary, all the staff, all the families affected, the students. It's very saddened I'm very saddened to see students have to come and talk to you all about what's going on. And I think, I mean, I'm not targeting you all, but you all should be ashamed of that it comes down to that, you know, because you all dropped the ball. As far as our schools, they give you the numbers, stuff like that. And I will just go into what Alpha TA data UISD as of now. I know we have been in this problem since the beginning, 2019. It started off small, and now we are in 2026. So as far as enrollment, 2023 to 24, 41,203, 699. And then it falls down to 40,742. And then this fiscal year, 2025, 2026, enrollment fell down to 39,832. And I strongly blame you for that because you all put a lot of, you scared a lot of people. And, you know, you put a lot of fear into the parents to enroll. And then as far as the vouchers too, that came into play as well, you know, like, and as far as expenses, this just is what does not make sense to me. Enrollment went down, but the expenses went up. Well, how did that happen on your all's end? Like, obviously you get it, but like everything, like you say, everything costs money, Mr. Montemayor. Everything costs money, obviously it does. But what I'm saying is, how did you all get it so out of hand? Can anybody explain that? Anybody? No? No motion, no nothing from behind that? That's fine.
We can't respond.
That's fine, all right, okay. Yeah, just like how you can't make it clear to us as well. Okay, that's fine. Well, I'd like to say that my son, I went to United ISD my whole life. I went to Gutierrez Elementary, and you know what, I'm very proud of that. That is a family. Matias de Llano shouldn't be closed either, but is there any other option? If I'm not mistaken, and correct me if I'm wrong, even though you can't answer, has that deficit from 44 million gone down drastically? If I'm not mistaken, it has. Okay, so that being said, I also fear for the teachers that they cannot, like the teachers, because of retaliation from you all. They cannot speak up here because of you guys. Long story short, it's like obviously I don't have enough time. I just strongly suggest that you guys consider it, put a halt to it as we put an agreement to it, and just please give us a chance to fight for our kids, man. They're barely developing and you're going after the elementary schools. I mean, if it was your all's kids, I'm sure it would hurt you as well. And as far as that, it says United Independent School District for children, you might as well change it and take off the United and just put for yourselves. As funny as that may sound, but thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Last speaker, Mr. President, we have Ms. Gallegos on consolidation of schools, Amparo Gutierrez Elementary. Ms. Gallegos. Is Ms. Gallegos here? Ms. Gallegos? Not here, Mr. President.
All right,
I know we're not allowed to respond to questions, but can I make a correction?
sure.
So, okay, Ms. Leti Juarez continues to state that I say that this budget was healthy. I don't know if she's doing it on purpose, but what I was referring to was the independent audit report, and I was referring to the fact that of all the school districts in the state of Texas, we're one of the few that has a fund balance that can last for 2 months, not 2 days, 2 months. I wasn't referring to the budget. I was referring to the audit report.
Thank you. All right, agenda item number 5, informational items, superintendent's report.
Yes, so good evening, members of the board, members of the audience. UISD is currently navigating one of the most significant financial challenges in its history. While we continue to celebrate student achievement, we must remain grounded in the reality of a $44 million budget deficit. The convergence of declining enrollment and stagnant state funding has necessitated a fundamental shift in how we manage our resources. Our priority is to protect the classroom and the quality of instruction, but doing so requires right-sizing our operations to match our current student population. The administration is presenting a recommendation to consolidate 2 elementary schools. We recognize that schools are the hearts of their neighborhoods, and the decision to consider closing a campus is never made lightly. However, maintaining underutilized facilities is no longer a viable option if we are to remain fiscally solvent. By consolidating these campuses, the district will see savings through reduced operational overhead and staffing efficiencies. Consolidation is the most visible change, but is only one part of our comprehensive financial plan. We have already implemented several cost-saving measures to reduce the deficit without impacting student services. These include the employee exit incentives, operational reductions in personnel and payroll, and hiring freeze on non-essential roles. Ultimately, navigating these financial challenges is not about just balancing ledgers, but a crucial investment in our district's future. While actions like budget cuts and school consolidations are certainly tough decisions, the impact of the community, they are necessary steps to stabilize our foundation. By proactively tackling these financial realities now, we ensure that United ISD can continue to offer high-quality education and a safe environment for future generations. Embracing these essential changes today is the only way to safeguard UISD's future and uphold our steadfast commitment to our students and our staff. Thank you.
Thank you. Agenda number 6, consent agenda.
Yes, Mr. President, I make a motion to approve items A through D. I was present at the workshop and heard presentations on all the items.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second to approve items A through D on the consent agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Mr. President?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, if I may just pick out monthly disbursements and employee contracts for individual discussion.
We'll just ask your questions. Go ahead.
Okay, so for monthly disbursements, I did send some questions. I'm not sure if you all were able to provide.
Good evening, members of the audience, Dr. Cruz, board members. My name is Rosa Caballo, Director of Accounting, and we do have some of those items.
Okay, so
available.
first one, I did see under instructional accountability, there was a monthly disbursement for $807 to Laredo Morning Times. Do you have that one?
Yes, it's an ad for a TAPR public hearing.
Okay, perfect, wonderful, thank you, just wanted to make sure. And there's another one for student support services for Weldon Willa Freight Shipping for $2,250.
I believe those were graduation expenses. Let me just get, yes.
Okay, for the students and the parents, or?
It's just the tickets for the graduation.
We are required to purchase the tickets or to purchase the tickets to print to use at the arena. Those are the tickets that we give the families for graduation.
The families for graduation, okay, and that was $2,250. And I did have some other ones, but I know those are lengthy. I know for legal services, for last month, we paid $97,194. So if we could just provide that information later on, I know it's lengthy. But also there was, and this is coming out of our board members, UISD food service banquet reimbursement, 808, and another one for 449.
Those are meals for board workshops, special call meetings, and regular board meetings.
Okay, are those the meals that we
Yes.
get in the back? Okay. And there was also another one for Amazon Capital Columbia Women, 186 with 50 cents.
Those were part of the school board recognition. Those were the vests that were ordered for you school board members.
For the board members,
Yes.
okay, that's what I thought, $186. And then I'm assuming it was $77 to stitch them, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
To embroider them, okay. And then there was also another one under safety and student services, school special dressing for $2,642, and also for, is it $31,973?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for your question, members of the board. These are the items that we put on every single classroom door for safety to be able to hide the classroom in case of an active shooter. So the company actually went door to door, and it was a customized effort to do that. So we were able to make sure that every single classroom got one of these items to be able to have it for safety and security.
Perfect, thank you. And then there was another for UNA Solutions Enterprise, and this is out of the purchasing department for $21,667.
Yes, that is their e-bidding system.
Okay. And then, of course, also because we are required to announce, right, announcements on the Laredo Morning Times, it does say for public notice. There was Laredo Morning Times, 1,205, and that's for an RFP, right, if we're ever looking?
Those are ads for bids, yes, that is correct.
Perfect, okay. And those we have to do by
Yes,
law, right?
that is required.
Perfect, okay. And then I also did see under guidance and counseling for Lozano travel for $5,210.
For Lozano travel is the study abroad, the Spain trip, and this is for Lozano's travel for the airline tickets.
Okay, and I'm assuming is this for an employee to go
This
as
is
a?
for
Study abroad for
chaperone.
students.
For the chaperones. So this is for the 3 chaperones that are going to the study abroad, $5,210.
Correct.
Okay. And this one too, for Ruth B. Cal documentation, this is coming out of the special education. It's $4,500.
Services for students.
Okay, and is this just because I've never seen that documentation? Are we using Ruth B. Cal for?
It's one of the ones that we use, yes, for
Okay.
services for students, yes.
Okay, was that something new that was added? Because I haven't seen that documentation.
I would need to check into that.
Okay, yeah, that's why it caught my eye. So it's the services that they're providing. Perfect, okay. And again, you know, well, I think I already asked that for the food. This is coming out of the superintendent's account. There's a PNC Marriott SATA for $2,148.
That was TASA Midwinter, the state conference that happens every year.
Okay, and when was that conference?
It was in January.
In this January?
Yes.
This January? Okay.
Yes.
At the end of January, okay. And we also have PNC Danny's with, or MTH PRI for $330.
Those are the principal advisory meetings that I have
Okay.
monthly with our campus principals.
Were these
Perfect.
were these all presented at the workshop meeting?
Yes.
Are these coming up after?
No, these were included in the workshop,
Okay,
but I
so-
just didn't have time to ask, so I am able to ask now legal, correct?
Yes, ma'am. Well,
Okay, thank you.
well, we
So
didn't-
I just want to,
I'm going to call for the question, though.
okay.
I'm going to call for the question.
May I
Yeah,
say what,
hold on.
I'm gonna go ahead and motion, and when we have a second, I have discussion. Do I motion?
We already have a motion.
Okay, second?
We're in discussion right now.
Oh, we are, okay.
We're right
So
there. We're in
my
discussion.
question is, can we get a report, because Ms. Martinez raised a concern with how much money we're spending on legal fees. Could I get a breakdown, not myself, can this board get a breakdown of how much money is being spent on grievances, lawsuits, and public information requests? And a breakdown where those requests are coming from? I know for the grievances, you probably can't put names to it. I'm not sure.
If it was a student grievance, I wouldn't recommend a name.
Not a student grievance
An
then?
employee grievance, I would also not recommend a name.
But a public grievance? From the
Public
pub-
grievances can be also
Yes.
correct.
Because we've been having a lot.
We could probably break it
The only
down.
legal one that I would not recommend putting a name on would be for students.
Okay.
I don't have a problem going item by item, but that's the purpose of why we have the workshop.
Yes, sir, I just wanted to make it
Every
clear
board
that the
member-
disbursements you all receive on a monthly basis don't change. We'll
Yeah.
just update the following
Yeah.
disbursements at the next
So
meeting.
I've gotten them, we've all gotten them, we've all
They're
go over
available
them.
for the public.
They're available on the website.
Yes.
That is the purpose
Yes.
of why we changed it to a workshop meeting, so we can ask these questions. And now, if, Ms. Martinez, all due respect, if you want that information more specific, you're welcome to, y'all give it to whomever asked for it. Y'all.
Yes, sir,
share.
the process.
If I may,
Yes,
Mr.
ma'am. Yes,
Flores,
ma'am. Yes,
thank
ma'am.
you. Yes, I'm aware. I review the disbursements every month since I was elected. Not everybody was at that board workshop, so just wanted to make sure that those monthly disbursements were justified, and just wanted to be clear, the message that we are sending is that we want to consolidate 2 schools, yet we have travel occurring in January, for the record. Thank you. That's all I'll say.
Okay.
And just to close it out, Mr. Montemayor, Ms. Martinez, you all know that we take these questions seriously. We do put together with all the departments, we'll work and give you a written response in the Friday packet this coming week.
No, absolutely.
And there's no issue with what you all are
Yes, ma'am.
doing.
No,
You
I
all are
understand.
doing an amazing job.
Thank you.
Every
Thank
time
you.
I ask a question, you all provide with clear answer, and
Thank
that I am 100% grateful for you guys. Thank
No,
you.
thank you very much.
As
So
you're
I have a
supposed to do,
question.
as you're supposed to do.
Yes,
Go ahead.
and so, Dr. Cruz, would you explain to the audience the importance of attending workshops at the state level?
Workshops at the state level are very well organized. We just came out of legislative year, so there were several updates that were presented to me as well as the other district staff that attended. This is where we get the latest information regarding instruction, regarding accountability, regarding finances.
Okay. And then in regards to the study abroad program, for the audience's information, the only expense to the district is for the chaperones. There is fundraising, and we're receiving donations from vendors and contractors and for the students.
It was a
And-
payment in lieu of taxes that was donated to the
Yes.
school district.
What's that? I'm sorry?
We brought a budget amendment to the
Yes.
board a few months ago.
Yes.
And we allocated those funds. It was not
Yeah.
district funds.
Yeah.
All right, so I have a motion to second. All those in favor on the
I
consent
also
agenda?
did, I'm sorry, if I may, Mr. President, I also just wanted to clarify and I did speak to legal about it beforehand, about the employee contracts and amendments. I did receive
that's right.
several calls about employees worrying if the school closures happened, they were afraid they were going to lose their jobs. So, legal, if you can add why this is on there, please.
Sure. So these contracts come to the board on an annual basis. These contracts are the actual form that the employees get when they get recommended for employment, which usually comes in May. So there's no employees getting their jobs right now. This is just the actual legal form itself that we review on an annual basis. There was no substantive changes. The employees have all their Chapter 21 contract rights, all their due process rights. It was just basically grammatical little changes. And this is an annual item that's brought usually in March. The list of employees usually comes in May.
I thank you for that, for giving them the peace of mind. Thank you.
And then, since we're talking about school closures, it was mentioned in public comment that it was only Ms. Martinez's district that was being targeted. And quite frankly, I'm the only school board member here who had 2 schools being targeted. So, Mr. Castillo, I loved his comments, I loved everything he had to say, but for the record, Amparo Gutierrez does fall under District 3, and Henry Cuellar does fall under District 3. No other board member here, not even Ms. Martinez, can say that.
Actually, that's not true. Actually, I.
That's true, that's right, we share, we share.
Yeah, I lose students to Matias and I lose students to Amparo, so
That's
both,
true.
both the school districts.
That's true.
Yes.
Yeah,
They
we
both-
share-
We
we
both
share those
lose
schools.
students, Liberty Hills, Crown Ridge. So, on a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
I will say that I do not approve the monthly disbursements. Do I have to go ahead and
You as a board member under BE local can pull out an individual item on the consent for its own vote on itself. So if you want to vote on the monthly disbursements individually, you have that power under board policy.
Okay, so do I need to make a motion for that?
No, you have that group policy
Okay,
itself.
so may I do that, Mr. President?
Well, I think it's noted for the record. You want to vote on it separately?
Yes.
You can,
Okay,
I can
so
mark you
I-
down as a no.
Yes, please, thank
Okay,
you.
so noted. All right, items for individual consideration, A, approval of donations.
Yes, we have donations. A donation by Hometown Ticketing Incorporated, the amount of $17,304.32 to go towards JB Alexander Girls Track and Field Equipment. A donation by Borchers Elementary Booster Club, the amount of $1,774.80 to go towards Borchers Elementary School supplies, equipment, and other needs that occur throughout the year. A donation by the Laredo Dodge Chrysler Jeep, the amount of $1,000 to go towards the JB Alexander UIL One-Act Play Travel, props, and costume expenses. A donation by local supporter Lobo Logistics in the amount of $1,000 to go towards Elias Herrera Middle School track program to support the needs of athletics. We had 5 donations under $1,000 for a grand total of $22,829.12.
All right. All those in favor of those donations signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries. Approval of board minutes for the month of January 2026.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Boarding of bids, proposals, qualifications, and extensions.
Good evening, Mr. Montemayor, members of the board, Superintendent Dr. Cruz, members of the audience and staff. For your consideration, we have RFQ 2026-004, real estate brokerage services. The recommended vendors are Lula Morales Realty as the most qualified and Jackson Real Estate Group as the second most qualified. We also have 3 renewals for your consideration.
Motion to approve.
There's a motion. I'll second it. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. I'm going to, y'all need to take a break, or y'all good right now? Y'all want to continue? All right, let's call items D and E together. Discussion and possible action on the proposed consolidation of Matias de Llano Elementary and Amparo Gutierrez Elementary, including justification and cost-effective analysis. And E, discussion possible action regarding the retirement of Matias de Llano Elementary and Amparo Gutierrez Elementary and corresponding boundary adjustments for Borchers Elementary, Colonel Santos Elementary, Malakoff Elementary, Troutman Elementary, Clark Elementary, Newman Elementary, and Nye Elementary as recommended by district administration. All right.
Yes, we do have a presentation which has been prepared by administration. We are ready to present a good discussion, and please, if you do have any questions regarding the cost effectiveness of these consolidations, please ask.
Yes, it's a slideshow we put together with the information we had. Let me see if I can, do I have this? Okay. There was some mention about a forecast, and this is a forecast from Zonda. And what we highlighted here were the campuses that we were consolidating with De Llano. And you'll see that we looked at a 10-year forecast and saw, these campuses are going to have a steady enrollment. We also looked at permits. It's further down in the presentation, just to make sure, right, that these campuses eventually would not be with too many students in them, but at least here we see that the enrollment would be steady at these campuses. And then here we have the impact on the boundary changes. I don't know if y'all are able to get on the link. Can you get on the link? To show no. How can I do it? Okay. So these were the recent boundaries, the current boundaries we have for Matias de Ano. There you'll see the green is de Ano, the pink is Borchers, the blue is Malakoff, the yellow is Troutman, and the lilac color, I think, is Colonel Santos. The proposed boundaries would look like this, where now you get some of the Troutman kids that are south of Shiloh and west of McPherson going to Troutman. We expand the boundaries for Malakoff to capture the students that live north of Shiloh but west of McPherson. And then we capture the kids that live south of Shiloh but east of McPherson. Those would be scheduled to go to McPherson, I'm sorry, to Malakoff. And then the pink is now the boundaries for Borchers. And then the lilac color is now Colonel Santos. And here you'll see the impact of the number of students that would be going, the 120 that live north of Shiloh would be going to Malakoff. The kids that live south of Shiloh, west of McPherson, would be going to Troutman. The plantation area of about 11 kids would be going to Colonel Santos. And then the Northridge area would be scheduled to go to Borchers. And then what I have to say here is that if there is an action tonight, there is plans to make a parent meeting to share these boundaries with the individual parents. We'll be updating our website for our parents to go on and put in their student ID number, and right away they'll be able to see the campus that their child would be scheduled to go to. So there will be more information shared with those families affected if this action should pass tonight. Let me escape back to the presentation. Yes. So now, just to show the audience and the board members the information on building permits, we just wanted to ensure that the residential areas were not going to be expanding beyond what we were seeing in the projected enrollment. There you have the 2025 building permits, you'll see the subdivision names, and then you'll see the 2026 permits for those same schools that will be affected by this consolidation. The staffing facility impact, in just using our classroom ratios at 22-to-1, the state requires a 22-to-1 ratio max, right? The Troutman Elementary would gain 3 teachers, and the planning department looked into Troutman's current classroom usage, and they were able to identify 3 classrooms where a pre-K, kinder, and 5th grade teacher would go. The Borchers Elementary would need 5 classrooms. They also identified there inside the building 5 classrooms that can accommodate a pre-K 1st, 2nd, 4th, and 5th. Colonel Santos would need 1 classroom for a 5th grade. I apologize for that. And then Malakoff would need 4 classrooms, a kinder 1st, 3rd, and 5th. And so this was the review of the current facilities at those other campuses to see what impact it would have in bringing the children of Diano into these individual schools.
Ms. Laida, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so for example, for Borchers Elementary, it says that second can go to number 31, and currently that classroom is being used for after-school programs. So now where will the after-school program go for Borchers?
Well, what I understand with the after-school program, it happens after school hours. And so I would think that this was a classroom that may have been holding supplies for the program, but we can check. Again, these are recommendations. At the end of the day, it's the principal that, lines up their classrooms. But what the planning department was doing here was they were looking for classrooms that were not being used as a classroom, but were being used for other purposes, so that we could ensure that there would not be any kids having to be scheduled to go to a portable classroom. We prefer that it be adults that go to the portable classrooms, for different services, just as you see listed here. but in this case, the planning department, again, these are just recommendations to the principal. They would meet with them and say, look, it looks like you can do this. One of the main things we do want is that the pre-K classroom have a bathroom.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So-
And I know also, like, for Trotman, their reading intervention, it says kinder can go to number 49, currently reading intervention can move to number 27. I guess that would be like a vacant classroom.
Yes, I guess on this notes here, it says that the room 27 is being currently used by a teacher assistant.
Okay.
So it's not being used for a classroom.
And for the record, you said that classroom sizes, or the district is now shifting to 22-1, which is what TA recommends?
We've always staffed at a 22-1 max, right? So this is when we get our projected enrollment, we say 22-1. There'll be many situations where it'll be less than 22-1. So we just go in staffing at 22-1. It doesn't mean that every single classroom is going to have 22 kids.
Okay, thank you.
Can I ask a question real quick? If I may, our special, I know we've had a lot of parents over the course of this that come up to the podium that have kids with special needs. If that unit gets moved to Trotman, for example, would the teacher leave with the students?
Yes.
How is that going to work?
Yes, that is a current plan, and if the child is not within the boundary of where that classroom may be going, we are going to be making sure that transfer requests are expedited and those are approved.
Because I know that's been a big deal,
Yeah.
and it's very important that the kids, they get so used to their teacher and appreciate what they do.
And we have been
but-
studying that. Ms. Lessa has in her team, and now with our new executive director, Ms. Dovalina here. It's certainly been part of those discussions.
And thank you for bringing that up, Mr. Gonzalez. I do have, with permission of Ms. Hattie, and her mom is here, and she did give me permission to speak on her behalf. I know that's a very specific case to Matias Llano. So have we analyzed the cost that the district would incur in moving her equipment to another campus? Because from what I know is that she has specialized equipment that she uses to help her. Therapy services and sensory room are importable. So have we looked at how much that would cost the district to move that?
The specific costs, we haven't looked at to put a number to it, but it
Okay.
is something that we've done in the past. So
So-
anytime that we have moved a unit, it is, we keep the unit in, in its integrity and move all the equipment that any student needs. The services, it's very important that the services continue to be provided without any interruption. But I'll let Ms. Dovalina
Okay.
Guzman.
And just for the record, you said that the cost of moving the equipment has not been looked at, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Because we need to wait for a decision before we
Okay,
look at
well,
that.
you see, that's where I
Well,
would
when it comes to
contradict.
moving or relocation, it will be done in-house within the district by personnel who are currently on board, and that's what we do. We have a whole department who is responsible for that. So
Which-
certainly they will be incurred costs, but it will be done during the week when we have these hourly employees.
Which
who
I
will-
completely understand, Dr. Cruz, but if we're looking into consolidating schools and really saving money, I mean, every penny counts at this moment. So I think it's very important to look into that first, or it being included in this recommendation, because again, these numbers are just numbers. But out of these numbers, I don't know how many kids are in 504. I don't know how many kids are visually impaired. I know there's one because I've been to the campus, but I don't know how many kids are there that have autism. We don't know that, right? So again, thank you. For the record, that has not been looked at. Thank you.
I have a question. In regards to the public comments, where they were saying that we were going to be in violation, could you speak to that?
Yes, I can. Claudia Dolina Guzman, Executive Director for Special Education. For the record, good evening, everyone. And to address that concern is that, first of all, my understanding is that tonight, this is a proposal. It has not been voted on yet, so it is a proposal. In the event that the proposal were to go through, we do have to convene an ARD committee meeting to meet with parents and to review the schedule of services that the students are currently receiving. There's two things that we need to look at. There's placement, and then there's location. Placement refers to the instructional arrangement and the type of services that the student is receiving for the special education program. If there are no changes to that because the services that the child is receiving is allowing the child to make progress in their curriculum, then there are no changes to that. Those services will follow that child wherever they go. Even if they were to transfer to a district outside of United ISD, those services should follow that child wherever they go. Now, as far as the change of location, that is also part of the ARD committee meeting process, and where we do delineate in the ARD committee when those meetings are held, where the location for services are. So we do have students that move throughout the course of the year from campus to campus, and we do address those change of locations to ensure that it is documented where they're receiving their services. But it is not a change of placement because they are going to continue receiving the same instructional program, whether it's at one campus to another campus.
Thank you.
Thank you. And so legal, if you can add on that, just for the record, are we in violation of anything?
We've already looked into this. I'm going to have Jaime Garcia, who's more specialized in special education than I am, and we've already done some legal research on this, and if the plan does go through, we are confident that the district is legally sound, but Jaime can give better detail on that.
Correct, yeah. Jaime Garcia, a general counsel for the record, but we did research the matter, and I am confident saying that it's very likely that there is no violation if there is to be a decision made that the location of some of these services being provided to these special education children is changed. So for the reasons really that Ms. Claudia Dolina Guzman has explained, and she explained it probably better than I can, because I'll probably get too much into the legalese, but that's pretty much on the nose. So we're confident in that.
Okay.
And there's Fifth Circuit case law to that effect as well. And again, we can talk about the details at a future date, or maybe if, you know, in private, in a consultation with us, but I'm confident stating that there would be a very likely no violation, unless, of course, the steps that Ms. Dolina Guzman outlined were not followed, but I'm confident that if the decision is made, they will be followed.
Okay, and just so for the record, because from what I understood from the public comment is that this is, I guess, a placement that's been imposed. If the vote goes through, it's a placement that's been imposed by the child rather than the parent deciding. Correct. The location.
The location, correct.
Okay.
There's a legal distinction,
location.
and there's case law out there where parents have tried to put forth that legal argument that a change in educational placement is triggered by a change in location, and the Fifth Circuit, which governs Texas, has not followed that argument.
Okay.
They've held actually the opposite.
Okay, thank you for the
Thank you, Ms.
clarification.
You're
Dolina.
welcome.
Thank you.
I have one more question. It involves with special education as well. I know for transportation, some are going to get affected because of there's questions about transportation.
Yes,
If you can clarify that, but for special needs, is that different?
For special education transportation, that is also part of the ARD committee process, and there is a transportation supplement that first ensures that the students that are in need of transportation are afforded that opportunity, and it is up to the parent whether they choose to decline or to accept the transportation services. I know that the transportation department always works very closely with us to try to minimize as much as possible the travel time on the buses, to and from. And there's different modes of transportation that they utilize in order to ensure that the students get to school safely and then get returned home safely as well. But transportation is also looked at, and it's also something that is reviewed at the ARD committee meetings with the parents. Yes, the parents are very important to the process because they work very closely with the teachers and with the administration on campus. And we really look to the parents to help us to best understand the needs of the students to ensure that they receive everything that we can provide for them.
Okay. And for the record, do we know how many students from Matias de Llano and Amparo Gutierrez are transported by their own parents or transported by special education services?
At this time, I wouldn't have that information available with me, but we can definitely obtain that information. I don't know, we would have to look at the specific records to determine how many for sure are receiving the transportation, unless
I don't have the exact numbers, but every child that is in special education is eligible for transportation. So if the parents choose to take them, it's at their choice, right? But whether it's across the street or across town, we do offer transportation services for all eligible special education students.
And have we ran an analysis of, let's just say, right, because again, we're going by projections, have we ran an analysis of how much it would cost the district if, let's say, kids who are in the special education programs in those campuses, how much transportation would cost us if parents would choose to go the UISD route?
I mean, we would have to look at those that are being dropped off and be able to factor them in. It's probably already a part of an existing route that we would be able to absorb. Obviously, we'd be traveling, depending on the location, so it would add a few miles. But as it stands right now, we have our ARDs that require us to transport students across town.
Yes.
And so, because of that.
Yeah, but the question again is, has it been looked at to see if parents from these two campuses that are being consolidated, has it been looked at? If parents were to decide to use UISD special education transportation,
So we can-
have we looked into how much it would cost the district?
We can pull them now until you make your decision. We won't be able to make that factor, but we can
But-
pull them now to see what it costs us to transport them right now to Amparo Gutierrez. We can, to Matias de Ano.
But
We can
there's
pull
no-
them now.
You can pull them now, what do you mean?
Well, we can ask those that are transporting their children, if we were to transport them, we can get that cost. We can find out what that cost us. But
Okay.
until the decision is made, then we can factor that particular cost.
Okay, until the decision is made, we can factor the cost. That's what you just said,
Ma'am,
right?
you're asking me to speculate on.
No, well, because to me, if I'm going to make a decision based on savings, that number is very important for me to know, just for the record. And I understand that
Yes.
it wasn't provided, like I'm not making
Sure.
you get it right now, but just for the record, I just wanted to make sure.
So the parents your question is, the parents that are providing their own transportation, what that cost would be, okay?
What it would be if the parents now decide, you know
Yes,
what,
ma'am.
now it's
So we
too
can-
far for me to go to Newman per se, or now it's too far for me to go to Borcher, so now I would like for UISD. Like, have we ran scenarios? That's what I'm asking.
We can poll those parents that are being affected by this, and we can find
Yes.
out that cost for you.
But it has not been done, for
Because
the
they may
record.
choose to continue to transport their child.
Yes, which I understand, but it has not been done, that analysis, for the record.
No, ma'am, because
Okay,
there's a
thank you.
lot of factors.
Thank
I
you.
have a question, Ms. Benavides and Dr. Cruz. We had, Plan A was the 5 campuses. I think you had Matias, Cuellar, Amparo, I think Finley, and Kennedy Zapata. Those were the 5 campuses that the administration originally started with. And it's been reduced to 2. Why the 2 and not the other 3?
I think, we started with these 2, right? We looked at the Zonda projections, right? And you see that the campuses affected stay stable in their enrollment, that by moving more kids to the campuses, it's not going to put a strain, I guess, on the building or the classrooms that we're choosing to move these students to, as you can see in the staffing and facility impact. So that's one answer, right? The other answer really is, when you start looking at where these schools are located, they're I'm not going to say they're right next door, but just looking at the distance between the current school, Matias de Ano, and, how far Borchers is, or Malakoff, or de Ano, or Colonel, or Troutman, they all are within like this 2-mile radius, right? So it doesn't seem, I know Mr. Garza mentioned the transportation impact, we feel that the existing routes can absorb general ed, transportation, the special ed would be looked at. But, those were some different factors that we looked at. You look at the campuses that we're sending kids to, that we're not going to put a burden, I don't want to call it a burden, a strain on the building, right? That all of a sudden, we got to add a portable, or now we have to open the portables to accommodate these students. When we looked at other areas, we looked at Kennedy Zapata, right? That's a 3-mile distance, right? So, that's just something we're going to have to look
Can
at
I
eventually,
comment on
right?
that? Can I comment on that, Ms. Benavides? Because I
Yes.
think Right in line with what you're saying, because the numbers at Amparo Gutierrez are better than Matias. I think Matias was the worst on the list, but better than a lot of the other schools on that list. But if you look at Findlay, and Farias, the distance, if we're talking distance, I would be looking there.
That's right.
But
That's
distance
why
is not
that-
only the
that school
only
was
factor.
initially- Like, that school is part of those 5 schools, right? That is an area, an older neighborhood. I mean, you start looking at how is the school being maintained? Like, what neighborhoods are going in there? You saw the permits, right? You look at permits, you look at the neighborhoods that have gotten older and are, there's not that many young kids there. And so you do look at the Llano area.
I mean, they're practically on the same lot. I mean,
You
they're
look
so
at
close.
at the Gutierrez area, the Hillside area, and then you look at the neighboring schools that have empty seats or room to accommodate these students. So you start looking at several factors, right? The other schools, we did look at Guayat Elementary, right? And there was some talk about, having to move some kids to Killam and having to move some kids to Zaffarini. And as we were looking at the numbers, maybe at Killam, we were going to have to use some portables, right? At Kazan Elementary, moving kids from Finley to Kazan at this time looked like we were going to have to use the portables. So, you start kind of going, can we accommodate just, 2 schools rather than all 5?
Okay, and so I mentioned this in the first meeting that we had where we had 3 hours of public comment. I said at the end of the public comment, I said, today we have an auditorium full of parents fighting for buildings, fighting for their schools. Children are resilient. I went to 4 elementary schools in different countries. My dad was in the Army. So children are resilient. I said, tomorrow we are going to have staff in front of us fighting for their jobs, their salaries. And we know that's exactly what's happening now because this board, however, influenced administration to cut the list from 5 schools to 2 schools. So now we have to look at salaries. Now we have to look at cutting teacher days. Now people's paychecks are going to be affected, right? Because we couldn't make the decision, the hard decision, like one of the students came up and said, that student, a very bright high school student, said, there were 2 of them, said, he turned to the audience and he told the audience, think about the future, and I'm quoting what this student said, told you, the audience, think about the future, not just what you feel today. Because your elementary students, in the future, when they hit middle school, those numbers are going to be even less. And when they hit a 9th grade campus with 1 grade in a whole campus, the numbers are going to be even less. So this is a problem today and an even bigger problem tomorrow because we're not doing what we have to do. And somebody said back there, advocate. I am advocating. I was an Amparo Gutierrez parent for 12 years. My 3 children went there. I love Amparo Gutierrez. My heart is in Amparo Gutierrez. It hurts me. But the hard thing is we either do this or we hurt people's livelihoods, the way they pay their HEB bill, the way they feed their children. I've had calls from staff concerned that you take money out of someone's paycheck, they're gonna feel it. It hurts. This is a real decision that this board could not make. They could not make it. So now we're looking at 2 schools and hurting staff. When we had a choice, we could have done things the right way based on administrative advice. For political reasons, I think, did not do it. I never act on politics. I act on what's right. And I don't want staff, I don't want families hurt. And that's exactly what's happening here. So you saw a student say, 2 students came up here and asked this community to do the right thing. And those are students. So my thing is, and then somebody said that this was a state issue. This is not just a state issue. This is a federal, audience, this is a federal issue. This is happening all over the country, not just in the state of Texas. Somebody came up here and said it was because of us, we scared students. I'm sorry, there are no students to scare. The numbers are lessen and less because, and that's demographics. Young people who are of childbearing age are not having the children, the number of children, or not having children at all. And that's statistics. Nobody can argue that.
So I'll just,
Look-
I'm
All
sorry,
right. Go ahead,
can I-
Mr.
I want to
Gonzalez.
ask Dr. Cruz a question. What happens if we just continue without anything, without closing down, without nothing?
Without
What happens?
closing any schools, we're looking at a reduction in force of approximately 425 employees who will be asked to leave the district, which will have a definite impact in payroll. Well, it would be good, but their personal payroll, personal checks, I mean, they will have no income. So want to avoid that. That's why we are considering the consolidations on the table now to do a reduction through attrition.
So,
Hold on.
Yes.
To do a reduction through attrition, rather than laying off or riffing employees, will be utilizing the reduction in force,
And how,
either through
where would we
retirement.
pick those 400 employees from?
What we would have to do is we would have to inform the Commissioner of Education that we are going to be riffing, and there is a certain procedure in place, and current policy indicates last one into a position will be the first one out. And it's just a matter of, and they give us strict priorities as to which individuals and which employees will be rifted.
and so.
Hold on,
if
Mr.
I
Aguilar,
may-
do you have any? I don't,
Sorry,
I'm
no,
just
go
going to
ahead,
give everybody
go
the
ahead.
opportunity
Yes,
to.
go ahead.
Go ahead. Ms. Molina,
Please finish.
go ahead.
Ms. Laida, if you can continue with the presentation for consolidated estimated savings. And just for the record, Matias de Llano this fall was at 402, while Gutierrez was at 380, just for the record, okay? And for the record, and again,
It's not bad news, that's good news.
I oppose both Matias and Gutierrez. I want to be, for the record, oppose both. But just for the record, because it was stated, 10-year projection, Matias de Llano is at top. But even at that, Gutierrez has right now currently about 368 or 382 students. That's still a lot. And if we're here, like Dr. Cruz said, in your superintendent report, you said that you are here to protect classroom instruction. Currently, the classroom sizes at those schools are 15, 16 to 1. And I also did look at a report that was given to us, and as per TA data, 24-25, staff information shows that elementary class sizes are lower than the state at UISD. Kinder, 15.4 versus the state, 18.9. First grade, 16.1 versus 19.2. And I keep going, but at the end of the day, UISD classes are 3 to 4 students smaller per classroom across state level. And if we are here, singing a song of we're an A district and an A district, again, this is why we should again focus on protecting classroom instruction. That's all I have to say.
For the record, I just want to say that Amparo Gutierrez, we know that the kindergarten is being, pre-K is being grouped at Newman Elementary School, so those numbers that you have are not accurate.
Well, actually, this is
Hold
from
on.
Zonda. This
No.
is from Zonda.
Order,
This is from
order.
Zonda, for the record. Zonda.
Mr. Vélez, do you have any?
I'm ready to make a motion, sir, so if everybody's already done.
Can we just go on the estimated
Are we ready to
savings?
make a motion? I'm going to start with the
Okay.
motion.
So for the record,
Hold on.
this is not, this
I
is
make
the
a
lack
motion
of
that we close
transparency.
discussion and call for the question. That's a motion.
There's a motion, and there's a motion for a call for the question.
That requires a two-thirds vote by the board.
Is there a second on the?
I'll second for motion.
There's a motion and a second to call for the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion fails, so we can continue with the presentation now.
Thank you.
I'd like to make just a quick comment about the classroom sizes.
Okay.
Right, they're smaller. We've tried to maintain that. We've tried, right? But when the state just does not come through with the funding, that's what you're going to see across, like our next TAPR or whatever report we get from the state, you might start seeing larger classes. because it's just something that it's unsustainable with the funds that we have. That's all I'm going to
It's
say.
been a practice here for many years
Yes.
that we hire teachers regardless of the class size. So that's why we have those great numbers.
Right, it's in personnel, right? That's what we know, it's in personnel. So on these estimated savings, what would happen with Ayano, it's a reduction of 36 positions. It's not telling these 36 people to leave. It's a reduction of these positions, and then you get these, let's say the administrative staff. Let me give you an example. The administrative staff, a principal, an AP, a counselor, a librarian, and a school nurse. What you do is you eliminate the position at Ayano, but you find vacancies at other elementaries, if that's where these individuals would wish to go. And so it goes on. Teachers, you don't need as many teachers that you had at Ayano, but you're not going to ask the Ayano teachers to leave. You're going to find positions for them. And for the record there, I'd like to explain that our Human Resource Department went and visited every single one of these 5 schools and explained to them what was going to happen if this proposal would go through. And I have Mr. Canales here, just, bear with me. I think, Mr. Canales, if you can explain what you all explained to the employees.
We reassured that all the 5, we did visit all 5 campuses. We reassured them that nobody will lose their position. We did share with them a Google sheet that they would fill out their first choice, second choice, third choice, fourth choice, where they wanted to go. If they wanted to follow the path of the schools or go to a different direction, they just had to list it. For instance, I had one particular teacher that said, I want to follow my principal. So we noted it, and we'll consider that as we move along. I did share with staff that you all had a very tough decision. We did share with staff that nobody wanted to be in this position. I did share with staff that Dr. Cruz unfortunately has to make a decision like this. I did share with staff that we had to make a decision like this. It's not fair that the state has done this to us. You heard that through Dr. King. You heard that through former board member Castillo, and I think you all are well aware of it. I think our staff is well aware of it. I'm very happy, and I'm very happy to hear our parents that have come up and have told you that we do a darn good job teaching kids, because that's the United way. But I also told staff that unfortunately times have changed, and we have to move with the changes with what we're dealt with. And it's unfortunate that we're all caught in this predicament. So what I will tell you is that nobody will lose their position. As Ms. Benavides was sharing with you, when it's time, if you all decide to do this, we'll move the staff members that follow those kids, including the special ed units, they'll follow those kids, and then the rest of the staff will find positions for them according to their survey request.
Okay.
And that's what we told them.
Perfect, thank
So-
you. And I just have a question, and there's no doubt in my mind, I know how hard you have worked and Ms. Melissa have worked through this. I know it's been very heavy weighted on you too. But what you all are saying for the record is that nobody will lose their job, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So I'm having a hard time understanding this. I can understand the mechanics, as I've said into my email, but it seems to me in simple terms that positions will disappear on paper because Matias de Llano is being wiped out, but they'll still exist if they go to the other.
They won't exist, because think about it. Over here, you have a principal. This principal, if this principal over here retires, we're taking this principal, moving him over here. This principal position disappears.
Yes.
So that's where you save money
The
over here.
saving, exactly. And for the record, do we already have a number of employees who are retiring for this school year?
We have information that we've shared with Dr. Cruz and with the staff. I think you got some of that information on Friday in the board packet.
And for the record, are there positions, for example, for principal that you know of already, registered secretaries that will be able to accommodate
As you know, it's still early in the game. I will tell you that we've seen now, I think I shared the historical data with you, that yearly we have about 300 plus that we will retire through every position. We're only in the beginning of what we're about to hit April, and we're still waiting to see. I can tell you right now, we have about 94 teaching positions that are available.
Okay.
And so we're still, again, we're just ending March. We have, of course, the early incentive that is out there, the second round, and it's till April 10th. I did shoot out another email reminding them about the deadline. Of course, these are big decisions that our staff has to make. As I had shared with you, I guess about a month ago, we have a very seasoned staff, and it's by design that we are because of the expertise, and you can hear from our parents, such as this group back here, that they are very pleased with what we are able to offer. So when they make that decision to resign or retire, you know, those are personal decisions that they can only make with their families.
Yes, and that's understandable, but for the record, because again, we're here for the children, we're here for the community, and we're most definitely here for the employees, right? So for the record, let's just say there is a registered position at Matias de Llano, and that nobody retires from the district. Let's just say, because we don't have the information yet. What's going to happen to that employee?
We will find something similar with the same pay grade, and we'll make sure that they don't lose anything with pay.
Okay, and what if there's nothing similar? What
There
will
is something
happen?
similar. Every pay grade has something similar.
Okay, will it be more or will it be less?
No, it's the same pay grade, the same pay. We just move them over.
Okay, but we don't have that information for certain
It's
yet.
still too early, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. For the record, that information has not yet
So-
been available. Thank you.
Here's what I have, Dr. Cruz, and here's where I'm coming from. So if you review what has happened across the state over the last, 3-4 months, you're going to see that Houston ISD has closed 12 schools. Fort Worth has closed 18 campuses. Austin has closed between 10 and 15 campuses. San Antonio ISD has closed 19 campuses. Carrollton Farmers Branch has closed 4 campuses. Richardson ISD has closed 5 campuses. Plano has closed 4. Louisville is still in the process of confirming, but they're in the process of closing their campuses. Leander ISD is also closing campuses. Eanes ISD is closing campuses. And this is all for the same reasons that we're facing. They've got a declining enrollment, and the gentleman who came up here earlier, we've had a declining enrollment for some time. We've got inadequate state funding. And just so y'all know, the state funding that has been provided for a charter or through the voucher program for a single student is $10,000. We at United ISD and LISD and all the other public education entities get $6,500 per student. And we are funded on an ADA, on our attendance, our daily attendance. So it's inadequate and it's unfair. They've capped us at our homestead exemptions. They don't allow us to remove our homestead exemptions to get additional funding. They don't allow us to go back to any tax increases because we have to go back to the voters. And so it's very difficult when you're facing all these declines, when you're facing all these barriers to be able to adequately fund public education. And I've said it before, I really do believe that there is a conspiracy by the state to do away with public education. And I've said it before, I've said it publicly, and I'll say it here again. That is where they're going. This didn't happen suddenly because, they just wanted to provide vouchers and give people that opportunity. A lot of the people who can afford private education sat around and complained to the governor that why am I spending, why am I paying taxes when all my children go to private schools? And so that started this role, and that started this whole thing about school vouchers. They are correct as well. The presentation by the demographers indicated that a lot of people are now homeschooling, and a lot of people are now choosing these charter schools. This whole narrative about mismanagement That's just not accurate. If we were going to be, if this district was guilty of mismanagement, then our schools would be, they would have low performance. You know, we wouldn't be where we're at, you know, across the state with our demographics, with the economically disadvantaged students that we have at United ISD, you know, with all the challenges that we have being in South Texas and the high population of Hispanics that we have here, you know, first-time English speakers, you know, we wouldn't be where we're at and the successes that we have. The teachers are primarily responsible for this. And so, you know, to say that, oh, this is mismanagement, the ones who are being taken over by TEA are the ones who are struggling in their performance. And I've said it again, you know, I've said it before, other districts are turning to United ISD and saying, what are you doing? How are you doing this? How are you getting your teachers to teach and get your children to graduate? Which, by the way, we're graduating at high levels. When you have 3,300 students graduating every year, but you only have 2,200 coming in at your pre-K and your kinder, you've got a gap. And could we have forecasted? Maybe so. But we were healthy at one time. We've always taken care of our employees, and nobody lost their job during the COVID era when we were struggling. You know, and even last year, the governor says, hey, we're going to give you more money, so here's additional $5,000 for the teachers. But guess what? You've got paraprofessionals, you've got transportation workers, you've got kitchen workers, you've got mechanics, you've got facilities. All these other individuals could not be left out, so we had to give them additional funding and additional money as well. We not only do we deal with the COVID, but we've dealt with recession, and now we've got a war in place where the cost of gasoline is skyrocketing, the cost of diesel is skyrocketing, the cost of health insurance is skyrocketing. Those people who are retiring, guess what? That health insurance is a major expense. And the district has absorbed much of the increase in cost over the last years, you know, and not pass it on to the employees. So, you know, those are things that we have, you know, had to face, but we've always did it so the employees wouldn't suffer. So I'm not here, the school closures is not an evaluation of the campus, it's not an evaluation of the staff, and it certainly isn't an evaluation of the students. I think each and every one of these students deserves the quality education, and if they don't get it here, they're going to get it elsewhere, but they're going to get it at another campus, but they all need to make sure that they're taken care of. So I see this as a combination of various things. You know, it's got to be a combination of payroll, it's got to be a combination of overtime, you know, holding on the overtime. It's got to be a combination of other cost-cutting measures, you know, but it's if you don't, Plan A was the 5 campuses, Plan B is the 2. Plan C is the RIF, the reduction in force, which nobody here wants to see. And I don't think any board member wants to close a single campus. I know people at Amparo, you know, I know Ms. Carodi, I've worked with her before as well. You know, nobody wants to close any campuses. That's ridiculous to say that you guys want to close, you know, you guys messed up. This board has worked really hard, and it's been stressful for every single person here. You know, so again, this is not an evaluation. This is just some things that need to happen. You know, something has to happen, because what is worse than closing campuses or riffing employees is doing nothing. That's worse. That's worse if we just sit here and do not make a move, because eventually, and I hate to even think about it because I think this district has been healthy for a long time, I think TEA can come in and take over. And guess what? You don't have a choice. You're going to close 5, you're going to close 7, you might close 10 campuses. You know, those 425 employees, you don't get to pick. You're gone. You're gone tomorrow. And there will be no emotion. There will be no feeling about it. It will happen. And so at some point, we have to do something. If this board wants to vote today, if they want to table it for tomorrow, I don't care. But something has to happen, and something has to happen. Something has to happen quick, because you know the parents need that peace of mind. The families of the schools need that peace of mind. The children need that peace of mind. They need to know where they're going to go tomorrow, and where they're going to go in August. You know, I think all the campuses around all the schools of Amparo and Matias are excellent campuses. You know, but I know it's it's upsetting to just uproot your child who's been used to being at a campus for so long and move them somewhere else. But this is just what we're faced with. This is something that has been thrust upon us. You can say, well, you had a convocation and you misspent money, or you're over, you're feeding all these athletes, and that's spending too much money. Everybody, we had a $35 million deficit back in 2013 when the oil and gas values went down. 10% were cut off the top from every single department. Every campus cut 10%. And so I know that's something that we've considered here. And so in fact, at the beginning of the budget workshops last year, that was one of the things that we had talked about. And so I think those cost-cutting measures are important, but it's not going to go far enough. I think if you close 2 campuses, it may not even go that far. So I'm throwing it out there. I don't want to see any employee lose their job. Even if you look at cutting stipends for coaches, or if you cut the priority stipends for the teachers who work in the Super South, even that, you're talking about $3,000, $8,000 that you're cutting from an employee's check. And so that's very difficult. If you mask the reduction of days in the contract from 186 to 180, that's another way of cutting people's salaries. So that we don't want to do. We don't want to do. So we have to make a difficult choice. And that's all I have to say.
Okay, so then to that I have a question. If this were to pass, no employee salaries would be affected? Or if this passes, employee salaries are still being affected?
Well, that's part of the cost-saving measures, part of the compensation plan. But it would all depend on the numbers that we get from the early exit, and then the final numbers, and those determinations can be made. But right now, the cost-saving measures do include stipends, do include a reduction of days for certain employees.
Okay, so right now what's on the table is closing 2 campuses and employee salaries being affected.
Yes.
Okay. And so if you can keep on, Ms. Laila, because I know you still have to go through the Amparo Gutierrez presentation. But I know, Mr. Montemayor, you said Plan C would be we do nothing, right?
No.
But what if we do?
Reducing in force.
Yes,
Plan C.
reducing force. But with the presentation, and Amparo Gutierrez will see, both campuses, if wiped out, will incur an approximate savings of about 4.5, correct?
In total,
In
yes.
total. So we are being told that we have no choice but to close schools due to financial constraints from what Mr. Montemayor is stating, and state funding, which, yes, that is affecting us, and I do believe it's a plan to dismantle public education. But the data tells a different story. The board received a list of softwares in our Friday packet on Friday, and it was interesting to see because we're being asked, both Amparo and Matias de Llano, right? The reasons of closure is because there's no growth and they're underutilized. However, in that list, you'll see that there are so many programs under 80% utilization. And so I did the math, and I won't keep going, but you know which one's my favorite one? And I don't know if you all know this, parents, but I hate IXL. We are spending $767,000 in IXL contracts with a percentage of 48% usage in language arts, 51% in math, 17.6 in science, and a 4.69 in social studies. District-wide, kinder through 10th. So that, to me, wasteful spending. That, to me, underutilization. There is another one, okay? The Sirius, which I asked my daughter's in 2nd grade, and she says she doesn't really use that software. And that one is costing us $561,522, and it is 32.55% district usage, okay? So again, we're being told that we have no other choice but to close schools. Matias de Llano and Amparo Gutierrez will incur a 4.5, and if we really dive deep into this, you will incur of approximate savings of 4.7 million. So we don't have to close this, for the record, Okay. Thank you.
I do have to say, when it comes to our digital platforms, last year we reduced by 2 million. This year we are looking at an additional $2 million. We're fortunate enough to have a program that's inbuilt in our network systems called Lightspeed, and we're able to generate a usage report like that. Last year that we were
Yes.
unable to do that, and that information is very telling, but it does happen to the usage of different programs are seasonal, depends on the time of the year and who's using them. If you'd like to explain that.
And then,
Mrs. Costa.
then also, I do need to say that the usage, the Lightspeed measures the clicks, right? So in
Yes.
some programs, and I do agree with you on IXL, that is for students. It is a program that the state has told us that is what we can use to be able to meet the needs of the students that did not meet standard on
Accelerated
Yes. Which
on
I
the
completely-
STAR
which I-
test.
which
So-
I completely
And we're looking at that.
understand.
The only other thing is that when I'm looking at this report, because I got a copy of it, there are some, like serious, that they are not being used by the student. They are being used either by the district to write all of the assessments that we need to have, or by the teachers to create their assessments, and it just depends on the campus. So what I'd like the opportunity to do is to also give you the information from the teachers themselves, because we surveyed every single teacher. We provided the survey for them. February the 20th, we're looking at all of that data to compare to this so that we can make a very informed decision and make sure that we are meeting the needs of our students, because that also is going to impact TIA, which is going to be probably the only way that the state is going to give us in the future the opportunity for our teachers to make the well-deserved money that they should be getting.
Yes.
So there are a lot of intricacies in these programs that we've got to make sure that we are meeting the needs of the students, first of all, giving the teachers the resources that they need, and then also listening to our teachers as to, yes, this is the program that we're using, this is a program that we're not using. To date, we have taken off many programs, we have streamlined everything because we are listening to our teachers.
Okay.
But we've got to bring the complete
More.
data. This is only a part of it, and we've got to make sure that we're bringing you everything to make the best decisions. And I'm all for cutting whatever isn't being used, and
Yes.
everybody at CNI knows that. That's what I've always told them. We've got to make sure that we're getting our return on investment, and that return on investment priority is our students growing a year's worth by coming a year's worth to our schools.
And I 100% agree with you. So Dr. Cruz, why was that information not shared with the board?
Which
The
information?
survey, is
So-
it because it's not
Well, hold on,
completed
hold on.
yet?
Can we,
Or-
let's finish your presentation. We can ask those questions as soon as Ms. Benavides is done. I think you're right, Ms. Martinez, she hasn't gone through the amparo
Yes.
with the
Go
other
ahead,
information, so
sorry.
let's move forward.
Yes. So,
I just
just a
can we-
little breakdown.
I'm sorry, Ms. Benavides, look, I'm listening very intensely to the entire conversation back and forth. And the reality is that there is no better, Matias is better than Amparo, Amparo is better than Matias. There is no competition amongst our campuses, not internally. And I made it very clear from the very beginning, if we do not have all the information needed to make this informed decision, I am so sorry. But when it comes to closure of campuses, if we have not scrubbed the entire budget entirely and looked for all those millions of dollars of district contributions and disbursements, then I cannot support the closure of campuses. It's not going to be a conversation I'm going to have right now. I do not appreciate, I'm not done. I do not appreciate anyone on this body to say that a campus closure is political. It is not. Politics does not have a home when it comes to our students, to our employees, to the education provided for our students. It has to have a strategic plan. If there is no strategic plan, there's no plan at all. Now, I'm going to call for the motion, because I don't see where all the information here is needed to move forward. My motion is what I asked for.
No, you have to call to end discussion. She can't
No,
call
you
for the
hired
motion.
opportunity to speak. I'm speaking now. I requested a community advisory committee, which I was told did not need to go for board approval. Unless we have that and continue to get input from our community to move forward and review, they have amazing ideas. They truly do, like our staff does too. At this moment, we need to review more deeper cost savings measures in the millions, implement this community advisory committee so that we can be able to move forward with an informed decision. At this moment, I'm going to motion to not vote for a closure.
No?
It's up that's what the item reads.
And want to end discussion? Well, I'll
Was there a
just,
second?
before.
Hold on. Let me.
You're going to end, we have to end discussion, and that takes a motion.
Okay, so we've got a motion
To end discussion, that's
well,
what
we've got a
we're-
motion to call for the question. And
Well,
and
I
to
think,
proceed to a, what I'm hearing is that you want a table. That's what I'm
Robert's
listening
Rule
to.
of Order requires that if you're going to end discussion, you have to make a motion like I did to end discussion. You can't just end discussion. Sorry, but
are
that's
you
not
making-
Robert's
are you
Rule of
making a
Order.
motion?
I'm making a motion, yes, to end discussion.
and
Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second, and to end discussion. All those in favor to end discussion?
To end discussion?
Signify by saying
I-
aye.
Aye.
Okay.
That's
I-
4-5. All right.
And now your motion.
Now, my motion is to implement a community advisory committee within the next 30 days and look for more deeper cost savings measures in the millions. And we know they're there with district contributions.
That's not on the agenda.
You can't make a motion on something that's
No,
not on the
Legal,
agenda.
can she make a motion?
The language on the agenda, we have two items, okay? So one of them is the retirement of the schools, that this does not apply to. We had a prior agenda item that I know we looked at them together, and I need to look at the agenda
Okay,
item.
motion to stay table for the next board meeting.
Second.
Within that time, I want to see deeper cost savings measures.
And motion
There's
and
a
a second.
Do we have 4 votes?
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carries. Matters tabled. We're now in executive session. The time is 8:42. We're going into closed session pursuant to Government Code 551.072, 71, 74, and 76. from closed session. The time is 9:12. For the record, no action was taken in closed session. Agenda item 9A, possible action with respect to a surface use agreement related to a well drill site burdening a portion of 2 USD tracts of real property totaling 165 acres of land, wrapping the northwest corner of Las Tiendas Road and Rancho Peñitas, 2.5 miles north of Mines Road and 7.5 miles northwest of Route 20, and described in deed filed of record in volume 3121, page 193, and deed filed in volume 3121, page 174 of the official records of Webb County, Texas.
Yes, Mr. Montemayor, the recommendation is to allow legal counsel to proceed as discussed in closed session.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. And on the same property, agenda item 9B, possible action with respect to executing an amendment of the resolution for the sale of 2 tracts of United ISD real property totaling 165 acres, wrapping the northwest corner of Las Tiendas Road, Rancho Peñitas Road, 2.5 miles north of Mines Road and 7.5 miles northwest of Route 20, more particularly described in deed filed of record in volume 3121, page 193, and volume 3121, page 174 of the official public records of Webb County. This amendment would add to the sale of such real property the sale of easements described in the easement agreements filed of record in volume 3121, pages 143, 153, and 163 of the official public records of Webb County, and provide for the surface use agreement burdening part of the approximately 165-acre tract.
Yes, the recommendation is to allow legal counsel to proceed as discussed in closed session.
Motion to approve?
Motion and a second.
Second.
Second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carries. Item 9C, possible action with respect to a resolution to tender 2,370.14 square feet by the actual tender for dedication of the 2,300.14 square foot to the public subject out of the private United ISD street known as Santa Monica Drive, with such 2,370.14 being located at the intersection of the inbound lanes of Santa Monica Drive and State Highway 359. The tender shall be subject to the same reservations, limitations, and restrictions set forth in the encumbrance agreement recorded in volume 5924, page 612, and the ingress-only easement recorded in volume 5924, page 634 of the public records for Webb County.
Yes, once again, the recommendation is to allow legal counsel to proceed as discussed in closed session.
Motion to approve.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Agenda item 9D, possible action regarding approval of United ISD Board operating procedures.
Yeah, the recommendation is to approve the board operating procedures as discussed in closed session.
Is there a motion?
So move.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I'd just like to ask legal, just for the record, is there anything different from last year that is?
Minor changes. One were just ease of reading, change the grammar for what we felt was easier reading. And then number 2, as you all know, we must now post board meetings 3 business days before the actual meeting. It used to be 72 hours, so that changed some of the timelines within the board operating procedures. Other than that, just very minor changes.
Perfect, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Agenda item 9E, intruder detection audit, report findings.
Yes, Mr. Montemor, members of the board, Dr. Cruz, members of the audience, for the record, the Texas Education Agency, TA, Office of School Safety and Security, in coordination with the Regional Education Center, ESC, recently conducted an intruder detection audit. At one or more of the district campuses, the IDA tests whether a campus is accessible to any authorized individual. The IDA seeks to help school districts identify how campuses can improve safety for students and provide the district as an opportunity to create a safer learning environment for students and staff members. Pursuant to CSA legal, any documented or information collected, identified, developed, or produced relating to a safety or security requirement is confidential under Government Code 418 418.177 and 418.181 Texas Disaster Act. Specific details will be discussed at the Board of Trustees executive session, which we shared with the board.
Thank you. Going back to agenda item F, request from board members in reference to the use of discretionary funds for various campuses and departments.
Yes, Mr. Montemayor, members of the board, there are no additional requests other than what's in your packet.
Thank you.
Motion to approve.
Motion second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. And
Thank you.
last item is adjournment. We are adjourned.
Thank you. Good evening.